What if we do it at the same time?
I think that sounds terrible. Let's do it.
This
Is
waiting
for
seconds.
the
Interview
podcast
where
we
meet
people
and
ask
them
who
they
are
and
why
they.
are.
I'm
Malcolm Outkelt.
and
I'm
here
with
Shannon Miller.
and
Today
we
we'll
be
talking
with
each.
other.
Oh fuck.
You fucked it up
Oh.
right at the end.
Oh.
You just said E.
Yeah. E. Other.
Today we'll be talking with E.
E.
That worked out though that our names are fucking oddly spaced apart.
Yeah. Yeah, that's too good. I had a feeling because the in between part is like four words, so it's like even. So there's no way I could have done it. Oh shit. To the intro.
All right, is this a wet run? Are we doing this wet now?
That one that's gonna be a cold one.
Okay,
so we're in the
there's
intro
dry,
now.
cold, and wet.
No, there's never wet. You're squimpy.
There's never wet? What's the opposite of a dry run?
Squimpy.
A squimshy run? Why? Okay,
Anyways.
I'll just do the intro then?
No, we're here. We're in the intro right now.
Oh, we're done.
We're done. We'd finished.
The intro happened?
Yeah. So this is now after
so the this intro. Is now the podcast.
We are in. Yes. This is.
That sucks.
Yeah. This kind of blue chunks.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Why'd we do
everybody, hey, welcome to our podcast. That was a bad intro.
Wait, why can't we just take the intro again? I don't understand. I don't get it.
Fine. We'll do the whole intro all over again.
Okay, but we're just doing it normal, right?
Yeah. No, you do it.
Okay.
Just do it.
Okay.
Before I
You're
yell.
You're fucking schlong, man.
I don't have a schlong.
I don't believe you.
Just go.
This is Waiting for Seconds, the interview podcast where we ask people who they are and why they are. I'm Malcolm Outkelt, and I'm here with...
Shannon Miller. That's me.
That's him.
Hello.
And today we're just talking with each other. How you doing, Shen?
Good. I'm a little disappointed that we couldn't just, do the fun intro, then the music goes.
Just put it before the fucking... It's
cold intro.
Cold open.
No. Maybe. Anyways, I'm doing good. We have a lot we have a lot to talk about today. This is another Just Bois. It's just us.
It's just us. We're just
two men, legends, boys who are going to be talking about how we're basically an update for the podcast and ourselves. Yeah. That way we're not leaving you guys in the dark about us, and we're not just interviewing other people. So yeah, this is our time.
We've had some pretty major life changes too, right?
Yeah. So what was the last few months, I guess? Who was all on? I should have left the screen open.
You fucking fool. So in the last few months, we started with Nigel, who is
our homie from the
British? God, he would
Netherlands.
hate that I say
He's
that.
not British.
He's noticeably not British.
Nigel, I know you absolutely listen to this
He's
podcast. You're not British. Malcolm,
British.
I'm not going to argue at this point.
Oh, Nigel, who's from the Netherlands, and is a good friend of mine.
Then we had.
We
Oh no, go ahead.
okay. I was just gonna say, and then we talked about him, his dogs, his brother. He travels a lot. His role playing game experiences, and other things.
Yeah. He also like talked about American food and how it's so
hmm
sugary, which is
hmm
very interesting to you and I because we're like, no, bread is not sugary. Bread, it's bread. There's no
This is
sugar in
right.
bread. But
Well,
in
that's the only bread
fact,
I ever known.
that's exactly right. Um, and then we had Ben, and I'm just gonna go down the list because we're already in it. So we had Ben, my homie, who's also life update for him. Uh, Congratulations, Ben, to being married. I think when
Oh,
this
good job,
episode
Ben.
comes out, he has like a day left of being a bachelor. He will
Mm.
be officially married soon. I'm not
Stu.
I'm not 100% sure when this episode comes out. So, yeah.
Congratulations, Ben, to being married almost, or if it all goes wrong, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, hey, this is the backup. Hey, Ben. Hey, I
It's
love
gonna be
you.
okay, Ben.
It's going to be okay.
It happens to everyone. We're gonna get
Sometimes.
through it, man. Just
And if you're married, congratulations, you did it.
congratulations! We're so happy for you.
You
And if you're
and
not,
your
it's gonna
wife,
be okay. We're so
hey,
sorry.
it's
Everything
okay.
happens sometimes. Just
Sometimes.
gotta.
But Ben is a good friend of mine. We've actually gotten a lot closer over the past years, and uh, he just finished college. He's officially a nurse, but we talked about being away from like your partner, uh, and like going to school, dealing with that stuff, being just away from home in general. Um, which is a big thing. And then we also mentioned or talked about like being inherently good or inherently bad.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a Christian guy, so we talked uh deeply into that, including like what should happen to people who like the death penalty. Nailed it in one. The death penalty was also a big important part of that episode. And that's maybe something we're going to talk about today. We will
Maybe.
see. Maybe.
Uh,
Uh,
Go
you
ahead.
go with the next one. No, no,
Okay.
no. You got it.
After Ben, we talked to MC. Firstly, was very interesting because that was our 1 year anniversary.
That's true.
And more interestingly, MC came all the way from Hawaii. Uh, we talked to her about her cats, her beautiful little kitty cats.
I met her cats. They're great.
I wish.
Very fun.
Her experiences moving to a new state. Her experiences in school during COVID, which is a fucking rough time.
Her bad English teacher.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Her passion and her family.
Yeah. And then we talked with Nick. Uh, and that of course like is right before Halloween, so it was like spooky season.
Yeah, we were spooky about it.
But we talked to Nick about certain things like finding yourself, especially in and out of like going out of high school or living with your parents or having to get a job when you just are not going to college. Also, relationships with God, how you go about handling all that. It's especially for people like me and him who grew up in the Adventist community where it's it's an interesting battle for anybody. Not necessarily like the I don't know what I'm saying. It's not the institutionalization of the church is not what I'm talking about. Just having your own relationship with God.
Mm.
Whew.
That was
And then
rough, man. You
yeah.
all right? After that, we spoke with Pastor Crystalline, who, unsurprisingly, talked a lot about religion, her religion, her perspective on religion, and Shannon and his perspective on religion, uh,
Yeah.
and so her social life.
Yeah, and especially like it was very interesting to talk about religion with her because we had a lot of similar values, which
Hmm.
I only found out because I'm not in high school anymore and she's not my teacher. So it was very interesting. Uh then we talked to another friend of ours or of mine, I guess, uh Anders,
I don't know
who
any of these people.
Malcolm, we interviewed all of them.
I don't know any of them. They're all your friends, Shannon.
I guess that's true. But now you know them.
Never. I do know them. This is true.
Anders was our New Year guest, and I knew Anders back in high school, and he started high school at the age of 12, and that was something we talked about, especially because he was a dorm student. So being, 12 years old and living in a dorm away from home is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it is.
and trying to deal with that was it was difficult for him. So it definitely an interesting perspective, like having to start life so young.
Hmm. And then after that, we spoke to Ash. Uh, once more, talked about kitty cats.
Love cats.
You
Love them.
gotta love a kitty cat.
Some bitches.
You gotta love them bitches. Uh, about standing up for yourself, institutionalization, Ash's journey with finding their own spirituality, anxiety, and I think that's more or less it.
Yeah.
Were there other big things we talked about? That one?
Uh let me see. Not well, I guess also just having a different having a
Oh,
different
you guys also talked about
spirituality.
your experiences with Sunset Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having to go to or working at a Christian summer camp
Hmm.
and just handling all that, especially at the weird teenage years. Um,
Yeah.
Also with another Sunset Lake member, we talked to Jared, who's in Australia. He's a teacher over there,
Australians.
and we talked about like what
What?
did you are you talking about British?
Sorry, I was just talking about how Australian people are basically British.
Oh my god. Well, he is an American who went over to Australia for some ministry at a church down south, and we talked about frogs, we talked about the positives and negatives of living in Australia. He also was experiencing living on your own at like from a very far distance away from his family, and also faith-based decisions. And he was almost in a very nasty car accident, and we talked about
Uh-huh.
that and like some of the realities of it. And finally,
Finally, we talked to Hayden. Uh, he's a history teacher. We talked a lot about religion and philosophy in that episode. Unsurprising. Highly educated teacher, you know. Uh,
yeah,
we talked also about teaching, the teaching experience, the experience of having people rely on you in that way.
also
Learning
being
with your students. Go ahead.
being similar age uh to your students, like some of
Uh-huh.
the fun things that you know about or like have similar interest in also your students have.
Hmm.
It's like
Yeah, just a
kind
couple
of
of years
weird.
off your students.
Yeah. And then we also talked about being innately good and innately bad and
Yes.
how that works. Um, so yeah, that's kind of in between those episodes, we've definitely like experienced different parts of living. Of course, we've had a new year basically. We're in 2024 now. It's wild.
Yeah, it kind of is crazy.
Uh,
When the fuck
I'm
did that happen?
uh, if it's March, it was 3 months ago.
Yeah,
Ah,
this is true.
but Malcolm, what different life experiences have you had since our last episode?
I had a lot of fucking life changes, man. I don't know exactly when our last episode was, but right around Christmas time, I got a job. I'm no
What
longer
the heck?
unemployed and not paying taxes.
You were not a baby not paying a taxes, and now
Yeah.
you are not baby paying taxes.
What did you just say?
You're paying taxes now.
Yeah, I'm paying taxes.
That's the conclusion.
At least in theory. I haven't done them yet, but
Are you enjoying your job?
yeah.
You're not
So,
convincing me.
because I'm not totally convinced myself, right? Like, as far as jobs go, yes, absolutely, I'm enjoying it. Compared to being unemployed, no. No, I would much rather vibe at home and enjoy my own time and not dedicate 40 hours a week to some other shit.
Do you think it's because of the bad hours?
No, I don't. I think it's just so I do night shift. I work 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Uh, but I really like those hours. It does make a little bit of stuff hard. Like evening times are a little bit weird, but like no, I like seeing the sunrise,
Oh, well,
and
that's a positive way to look at it.
I find a
Yeah.
lot of comfort in the nighttime, in the dark hours. But you only have so much time in a week, and it sucks to give up not half of it. It sucks to give up like actually
Most of
it's
it.
practically half of it.
Yeah. Yeah, working was that 12 hours? Is that
No,
no,
no, that's
8
just 8.
hours. Yeah.
8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
And then yeah, no, it's practically half cuz you have
You
to
have about
sleep for
80
8
practical
hours.
hours.
God. God, I hate working.
Yeah. It's really nice to have money though. It's really nice to like and
Yeah, you
have some
can.
of that stability.
How do your parents feel about it?
I couldn't exactly tell you. Everything I've heard is relatively good. I mean,
Oh,
let's be honest, I'm paying bills now too. They probably like that well enough.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah. You're not
Uh, but
they're not
like
just paying for everything.
I'm sure it's kind of weird to I mean, I can tell it's weird for my dogs at least
Yeah.
when I'm not here. They get so used to me just being permanently if you forgot to like turn off the stove at night or something, I got it.
You got it.
I don't got it anymore.
Oh, that's true.
I had it and I
You
don't.
had it. Doing dishes.
Yeah.
There's just now
There's a lot more
dishes.
dishes around the house cuz I'm not just permanently doing them.
Yeah. Permanently 24 hours a day
Eh,
doing dishes.
24 hours a day dishes.
But you also drive now.
Yeah, this is true.
That's kind of new.
Yeah.
Do you
I don't know.
prefer it?
Eh, driving, I don't care for it. It's time-wise, it is a lot better than riding the bus.
Yeah.
But there's something deeply stressful about being in a hunk of metal going 60 miles an hour, and the
Yeah.
knowledge that if somebody fucked up, I could easily kill them. If I fucked up, I could easily kill someone else.
Oh.
And it's like a twitch of the wrist away from killing someone.
That's so dark, but I get it. You're not you like single line transportation, bus, train. You love your trains.
I do love a train. This is true.
So, so what I'm hearing is you get a lot of anxiety while driving.
I get a lot of anxiety when I think about those things, which I avoid doing while I'm driving.
Fair, fair. No.
Because I don't want to think about that while I'm driving.
Oh man. So, do you like it though?
I
Overall?
driving,
Yeah.
I like the freedom that it brings. I
And like
like
you
the
said,
ability to just go do shit.
yeah. Do you kind of miss being on buses though? Like just being able to see the rest of the
I
Denver
mean, yeah,
area?
it's nice to be able to just look out the window and, oh, I know that place. Oh, look at that place. Oh, they did something cool there. Whoa, they're doing construction. Like, I don't notice a lot of those things when I'm driving. Because
Yeah,
if I
because
take
you're
my eyes off the
driving.
road, yeah, for all I know, someone's gonna fucking jump out in front of me.
Yeah. Dang. Dang. Huh. I guess I've been driving for so long. No, I used to have those thoughts.
Yeah.
No. I do take my eyes off the road a little bit too much now because I'm so comfortable with it. But did you ever, you know what, I've never asked this. Did you ever have a bus buddy? Like somebody you'd always see and be like, "Hey, there's that guy." But he's like your bus friend.
Yeah, there were a couple of people.
Like regulars, I
Yeah,
guess.
there were a couple of regulars when I took the 15 down Colfax. When I was working at my job, my very boring insurance check tech job. I took a bus and a train to get there, and there was a one guy who always took the same bus, who got on before me and left after me, went the same direction, uh, at the same time.
That's so fun. Do you remember his name?
I never
Can we
talked to him.
Oh. Did you talk to any of the guys that you like regularly see?
No,
I
no,
guess
that's
that's
I mean
fair.
that's bus etiquette.
That is
I
bus
don't want
etiquette.
to. I don't want to fucking talk to you. Why would I want that?
So if I was on the bus, you would just not speak to me. That's what I'm
No, if
hearing.
I knew you,
Right. Like if you
if I
actually
knew
knew
you
me, but not
truly,
like a regular, like,
uh-huh. But if I
okay.
just saw you on the bus is not a place for conversation.
I'm not a bus going dude. I've never been doing
You've
buses.
never been on a bus?
I've been on okay, I had my bus like elementary school bus, and
That doesn't
then
count.
I've been on a bus in Seattle, and then we also had like were on the subway a little bit when I went to New York, but New York's scary, and high school age Shannon was just like, "Oh yeah, not talking to people ever."
I mean, that's what you did, though. You don't talk to people on public transportation. That's
I
not.
guess
That's
not.
disrespectful.
That's just funny to hear it. What other bus rules are there? I guess I'm
Treat
going a
the
little
bus
off
driver with the
track.
absolute utmost respect.
Obviously,
Yeah,
it's just like in the car.
yeah.
Like you don't fuck with the driver.
You don't fuck with the driver. Um, yeah. Don't pull the bus cord unless you actually have to
Ooh,
stop.
ooh. I thought that was like a myth kind of thing. Like those don't exist. You're like, oh, if you miss your
The
stop, you're like
cords?
fucked. Yeah, the e brake. stop, basically.
No, it's not like. So it's just like a signal. So there's just
Oh,
cords that run up and
okay.
down the bus, and if you pull them, it tells the bus driver that someone wants to stop.
Gotcha. Okay. I thought it was like you hit the cord, bus stop immediately.
No. No, if they gave those to passengers, it would be a fucking terrible experience.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Huh. I didn't really know much about bus etiquette, so this is interesting. Yeah.
You should ride a bus sometime.
I
Or don't.
I might. When I come and see you, I might. We might just ride a singular bus. Probably not, because you'll probably want to
Probably
drive.
not. 'Cause we can drive.
Yeah.
We don't need to do that.
Oh, shit. Well, since we're talking about new changes, I have a new place. Only a
Yeah.
few weeks ago, so like beginning or end of February, like roughly like the last week of February, yeah. I had been living with my brother and his fiance for a long time, since like 2020, and I felt the need to escape a little bit. And so I had just been searching and uh went to like different places on Facebook trying to find a place, and I think I went to like through like 3 or 4 places till I found this place. It's nice. It's
Yeah.
just me. Uh it's definitely a
That's gotta
big
be kind of weird.
it's a little weird. We have, I guess we had. No, I'm saying we have because I love those cats. We have 2 cats, Presley and Regis. I've mentioned them before, most likely.
Those are still your
Uh,
babies.
those are still my beautiful boys, and they are, specifically Presley, very loud.
He's
You've
a
heard
loud
him.
beast.
Yeah, he's very loud in the mornings, and uh even when like early morning hours, like 3 a.m., and you step out of your bedroom and he's like, "Oh, people." I'm just like losing my fucking mind. I'm just trying to drive to work or like get ready for work.
Bro, I just need to get ready for work. Don't wake the whole damn house up.
Yeah. It's weird not hearing certain noises. I'm getting, you know what? I will say I'm getting used to it. The first few nights I did not sleep that great
Mhm.
because I was expecting I've just new noises, I guess.
Mm.
Um but it's been interesting. Like I can go to bed when I want. I can do the dishes when I want, which I've been very good. If you come over to my house, audience, please, honestly, please don't. Uh, I have my dishes almost always done every day. So,
Yeah. You're also only one person now.
yeah. So it's not like I'm consuming vast amounts of dishes
Uh-huh.
a
That's really
day.
the part that fucks you with dishes is when there's a lot of people consuming dishes and not that amount of people doing dishes.
Yeah. I also realized moving in on your own, excuse me, moving alone, not that much work if you really like don't have a lot of stuff, but on the other hand, super expensive. Super
Mm.
expensive. I won't lie, I probably have depleted most of my bank account, and I had a couple G's saved up just for emergency stuff, and now I do not have a bunch of G's. I do
What's
not
the
have.
what's the expensive part? Like the actual moving cost or just a
You
down
know,
payment? And,
well, okay, so at first it's the security deposit, which is as much
uh-huh.
as your rent, which I can oust myself a little bit. I pay 12.50 a month for.
That's pretty expensive.
It's pretty expensive. Uh but the security deposit was the same amount, and then for how much space I'm getting, I think it's worth it because I also have a garage, even though it's an apartment complex condominium thing. Um And then also having to buy all the things I didn't actually have that like belong to my brother and fiance.
Oh yeah. Like you didn't have a microwave and shit, huh?
Yeah, or like I needed uh pots and pans, dishes, I needed a new bed frame because in amidst the moving, I realized my bed frame broke and uh, I had to purchase some boxes. I had to get like all new groceries basically
Mm-hmm.
because I wasn't just gonna about to take all of my brother's. I'm gonna call her my sister from now on. My brother and sister, all their groceries or all their things, and it's just, and then also like having to pay for my own bills, everything. Like I was paying for the internet bill, I guess, but it's just weird. It's just weird.
Yeah,
But
that's gotta be weird, huh?
oh, and then I also had to get a new dresser because amidst moving, when my brother and I were bringing my mattress in, and then my dresser, we carried it the wrong way, so the drawers just slipped out and absolutely shattered. And it's one
Oof.
of those dressers that is like it was cheapo to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
but it was still like 100, $200, and you're like, no. So there's all sorts of things that kind of added up.
Uh-huh.
Um, but it's not so bad. It's not so bad so far. I kind of enjoy it because it's just me, and I won't lie, I've been able to like feel relaxed a little bit more. I
Walk
feel
around
like
the
there was
house
this
naked kind of shit, like
kind of, yeah, like there's no, I don't think I had any like expectations from my brother and sister,
mm,
but I almost gave
there's still
myself expectations. So I was
uh-huh.
like walking on
There's
eggshells. Like, I'm not supposed to eat this food or that food. Or like, are they going to be mad at me for eating something or using something that I wasn't
mhm.
supposed to? It's stuff like that.
Is this her shampoo? Should I not be using this shampoo?
Did I forget to close the toilet seat?
Mm-hmm.
Did I make a big mess on the carpet or something like that? Yeah, there's all sorts of things, and I don't think there was any specific anxiety that there was like rules and stuff that just was forced onto me. It was just things that I maybe had forced onto myself. Um, which I'm slowly learning that it's just like, oh yeah, I put that on myself. That's my fault.
Mm.
That's me. And that also helps because since I guess the 20th episode, I am now doing therapy, and that's been huge, huge in my development. Uh, just in general, I probably had started it, but in the past
Mm.
like 6 months of doing it, it's been amazing. I don't think Robert listens to this podcast, but thanks, Robert.
Hey Robert,
Welcome.
if you listen to this podcast, Jen did a lot of things. You could use this.
Yeah,
I don't think he's
yeah.
like allowed to as a therapist. You might not be allowed to.
He's still, well, no, because I mean, as long as I'm not looking into him, I think it's fine. Like, he's not my friend, he's my therapist. So if he gets a glimpse into what I do, eh,
But like, is he actually? I don't know. It feels like there should be like a therapist code
there
where he's
is.
only allowed to use things that you tell him, specifically for the sake of therapy.
Uh you know what? I see what you're saying. It would be as much as like invasion as if he was to go onto like my social media.
Uh huh.
You know what? I see that. So I guess, Robert, if you are listening to this on accident, I'm sorry. It's my fault. Probably. I'll
Though,
see
like, you
it.
probably can like consent specifically to him. Listen, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll probably talk to him later.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sorry, Robert. I'll tell you in therapy.
love you, Robert.
Malcolm loves you.
Yeah,
It's kind of weird.
I know. Um, are you planning on getting any little beasts, little critters to run around your apartment?
I'm gonna get a kitty. I am very much allergic to cats, but over the years of living with Presley and Regis,
Hmm.
my brother and sister's cats, and also having friends who have cats, plenty of them. I think my allergies have lessened. So I'm gonna get a critter at some point. but I want to get couches and furniture and
Mhm.
basically be prepared. So,
All right, well,
and of
good to
course
hear.
I've got Shelly. So
Hey, when
she's
you do
great.
get a cat, I goddamn better see fucking pictures, you son of a bitch.
You immediately will get pictures. You'll be one of the first people who gets pictures.
I better be like the 6th.
Can't like that's like the number that you have
'Cause
to
that's
be.
like yeah, that's like Austin, your sister, your parents, so that's 2, and then, like,
So no, that's
Jeremy,
4.
2, and then
So
me.
that's 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I'll think about it. Malcolm, cover your ears real quick.
Yeah, I'm taking my headphones off.
I'm definitely not going to do that. He's probably one of the first people who's going to see it. Malcolm, you can come back.
Are
Malcolm.
you done, Shannon?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
I had to talk to the audience real quick.
Okay, sounds good.
I had to talk to them
You had a
about some
secret
important
little
stuff.
conversation with them?
Well, nothing that you should have heard. Like you could have heard it, but it's like not a big deal. Future Malcolm, if you're listening to this, stop it. Oh, gummy bears are attacking me.
Oh my god, you're getting killed.
I've been slowly just chewing on gummy bears this past hour.
So I'd like to ask you, Shannon, a lot of that, the money shit especially, sounds stressful. Are
Yeah.
you still running? You
You
mentioned that
know,
last time.
last time I had definitely slowed down my running, and
Mm,
since last time I was definitely like there had been a couple of months that I wasn't running. And now living on my own, I'm definitely I'm exercising more. This like I think I'm going to start doing some meditation, doing some early
mm,
morning yoga or something just to I balance maybe like my loneliness and bring up my endorphins cuz I've heard that running or yoga or meditation is like really good in general and better for your brain. So I'm working towards it. It's
mhm,
slow, but it's gonna get better. Um, I'm generally not as stressed anymore. I think since episode 20 was like in between Blake's death,
mm.
uh, it's like it's definitely not as hard as it was, but it's almost been a year since then, which is crazy to think about. Uh, so it's I would say it's getting better, especially with having the therapist, and like living on my own. Now I just have no expectations that are put upon me besides the ones that I already have for myself.
Mhm.
And sorry, I don't have to put any more expectations on me because I'm not living with people.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You get it.
Yeah.
But how about you? I mean, I imagine the new job and like not being home is just kind of different, so maybe more stressful. But are you still like I imagine you can't sit outside in the cold anymore because you're night shift baby.
Yeah,
Or
I
night
mean,
shift. You're not baby. You're man. You pay
so
taxes.
my job is a lot of I do security. Um, I do a lot of walking. Uh, so there is something really like stress relieving of just having a walk, even if it is like I'm still in work hours. I'm just walking around the exterior. It's a nice time.
Yeah. So
Um,
you get to look up at the moon and just be in the cold air,
yeah, listen to my
especially since it's
podcast, be in the
winter.
cold. Mhm.
What? You don't listen to this podcast while you're doing it, do you?
No,
That's dangerous. Good. Good. Whew.
I listen to much less interesting podcasts.
Like Dimension 20.
Right now I've been listening to the Magnus Archives.
Oh, good one. It's a good
Yeah,
one.
it's a lot of fun. Um,
So just in general, it's just like your stress has maybe gone down a little bit.
And then I've also been making a point of buying myself food. One of those things that I've always loved food. Food is, if not a major part of my love language, a very important part of it. So I've been taking myself out to breakfasts and dinners and
Oh,
buying food for myself when I can. Uh,
fun.
which is it's been very stress relieving. It's been very making my job a lot easier and making actually doing the job feel worth it.
Awesome. No, that's really good. I'm happy for
Uh,
you. Yeah. What kind of stuff have you been getting? Or, sorry. Do you go with your parents? Is it just usually by yourself? Like you
no, it's usually I get off of work and I go to there's a bagel store a couple blocks down. I've also been going to a diner. So I mean I get off of work at 7, so not everywhere is open, right?
Sure.
I basically do breakfast. So I've been getting bagels and lox. I've been getting
Ooh.
gyro sandwiches from Pete's.
Dude,
Uh,
we're gonna eat so much food when I get there.
we're gonna need a lot of food.
Anyways,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, just treating myself.
Good. No, I'm glad, especially because yeah, not be having to use the bus for travel anymore and using it's your car, right, Malcolm?
Basically,
Oh, okay. It's just like you're sharing it, but it's mostly
officially,
yours.
officially, it is my car. Uh, my mother continues to use it because I'm asleep during the day. It's not
Yeah.
like I fucking need it.
Right. Well, good. Um, I'm thinking I'm gonna move on to our next little subject, and it's like how do we feel about certain things now, especially after these past few guests? And one of the first things is religion. And so I'm going to ask Malcolm, has anything about your like perspective on religion, maybe the like institutionalization or people's personal opinions on religion, has that maybe changed your opinion of religion? Maybe it's good, maybe it's worse.
I think that this whole podcast and asking people about their religion has been kind of awakening for me, not in an actual religious sense, but in a like
Sure.
I assumed a lot of people were just like, my pastor says this is what God is. Therefore, this is what God is. And almost everyone we've talked to, in fact, I think everyone who we've brought it up with has said, my pastor says this thing about God. I have my own God, though.
Yeah.
My God has a personal relationship with me, and it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks of it. The important part is that I have a relationship with God,
Yeah.
which I think is I mean, is a nice way to look at God. I think it's still kind of, I don't know. As an agnostic person, it feels still kind of like, yeah, no, God isn't real, even if you have a personal relationship with them. But if you gain something out of that, I'm happy for you.
Right. So right, it didn't awaken like some buried deep
Yeah.
religion inside you, but it opened your eyes to like some people are a lot more chill than others
Yeah.
about religion. Yeah.
The vast majority of people are absolutely chill and couldn't give less of a shit whether or not I believe in God.
Yeah. But I I'm kind of impressed with that. I didn't know how that really changed you, and I guess we just haven't asked this question um on or off the podcast. So it's nice to hear that like I know when I originally met you, you were fully just against religion, but that was also due to probably some other things. So it's it's interesting to see how you've changed on your perspective.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know if I have changed on my religion, but it's definitely a lot more eye-opening to know that there's a lot more people out there uh who aren't these hard Christians. Like, and I don't think we've had a guest who's on here who's like a super hard Christian. Like they generally do have their own relationship. And we have had a few people on here who aren't Christian who do find themselves agnostic or just don't believe in a religion at all, but who are like super chill with everything. And
Mhm.
I was of the opposite uh perspective a few years ago, like Malcolm, but the opposite. So it's just like, atheism, agnostic, gross. What are you? I'm gonna throw up.
I'm fucking vomit, man. I can't do that.
So it's just been nice to be open to the like people just are people. It's no matter the religion generally. That's something I've just come to learn, especially if you've got chill people,
Mhm.
which I think
That's what
we
you
have
gotta get.
had a number of them.
Gotta
Um,
get them chill folks.
I do probably. I'm hoping in the future that we maybe step away, not just from Christianity, but just like step into other cultures and religions.
Mm.
I know that's kind of difficult, just because like you just have to find people. Basically, it's kind of how we're going about this.
Mhm.
But hoping to hear just some other perspectives, maybe. But I one thing that has been interesting, at least for me, is the perspective on inherent or innate good and evil in people.
Mm.
And I think I might answer that first.
Answer it then.
I will. Like talking to Ben and Hayden, who, well, like the past 20-ish episodes, we were talking heavily about nature versus nurture, which was almost this gray area that we seem to reoccur on,
Mhm.
or like a yin and yang, right? Um, and so being innately good or innately bad just kind of depends on the person you are. I it is another like gray area. It's not like a yin yang push and pull kind of thing, but it's some people it's not about what's in the mind is what I've kind of learned. I used I think I used to be very starts with an I, like my my choices or my thoughts about my choices is what should matter. When
Mm.
in the long run, it's the results that matter. What you bring to the table, your actions, your results,
Mhm.
because your intentions. That's I used to think I just everything used to be based off of intentions. Like you had good intentions,
Mhm.
but in the grand scheme of things, it's uh, your intentions don't really matter, and it's more about I guess your intentions matter, but it's more about your actions and results. And so with that, answering that question, it's like an in between. It People aren't innately good or innately bad. Like I guess babies are like innately good because they're just learning things, but it's just
I
like,
don't know. Baby seems like little sons of bitches.
well, yeah, we know
Man,
that because
hard
they don't pay
anti-baby.
taxes. They don't pay taxes.
Uh-huh.
Um, What's your perspective on this? Has anything changed for you? Are you
I don't believe that humans have an innate nature.
and I think that's where I'm kind of at.
Yeah. I think that you are a blank slate, and a blank slate can't be good or bad.
No.
Yeah.
It it's with that nurture versus nature that kind of results in your actions basically.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, the
Yeah.
result is the important part.
Would you now I'm just thinking about this question a lot more. Yeah, it really is like you could be innately good or innately bad, but nobody's like cursed to be good or cursed to be bad. It's human nature, which I don't think there is a true inherent nature. Because even just speaking on evolutionary terms, it's like survival of the fittest.
Mm.
Whatever makes you last the longest, basically. Not necessarily you have the better life or better choices, but it's how long you last and what comes of it. Sorry, I got gummy bears in my mouth. I don't know if you could hear it, but they're really good.
I'm happy for your gummy bearness.
Yeah. Nah, gummy bear gone. Do you would you agree with that? Like what you were saying, it's there's no really human there's no innate human traits, basically.
Yeah, I don't know that I would say.
Maybe
I'll be
mine's
honest,
too broad.
I think that the terms good and bad are also a little broad and kind of hard to define and understand.
Sure.
Is it like, is good the person who truly survives the longest and makes the best kids and gives their children the strongest chance for success? Or is it the person who makes the most ethical difference, the person who creates the most good in the world? Or is it the person who creates the strongest good in the world?
So
I, I don't know.
there's a there's nothing that we can really answer. It's just based off of our perspective and opinions.
I think it's
Uh,
kind of an unanswerable question that gives a really interesting look into how somebody thinks about questions like that.
huh, I can't help but agree. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, hey Shannon,
Hey.
speaking of ethics,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. What
uh,
about him?
do you think? How about I'm gonna ask it this way: do you think you live an ethical life?
Ooh. Ooh, you really did me dirty.
I did.
Huh. How? Because I'm okay. This audience, this is what the question actually says. It's how do you live an ethical or moral life? Do I live in? Oh, you dirty little conniving son of a bitch. Um, I would say I try. So to put a strong answer, no.
Mm,
I don't think I live an ethical or moral life, but I try. I try my damnedest to. Uh, just on the morals that have been presented to me because of my like religion and society around me, I would think I would or I think I try to be the best version of myself, I think.
hmm,
Um because nobody's perfect. And we can try to be perfect and to strive for perfection. But there's the other part of it that it's okay to fail And in that failure, there is perfection. Because if you fail, that means you learn, or you learn for the future time, for the next time. You learn so you can teach to your next generation. So is it possible to be completely ethical and moral? No, because if ethics and morality is based off of perfection, then nobody could be ethical and moral because nobody's perfect. But we can all try to be ethical and moral as much as we can. Now I'm gonna spin the wheels on you,
Oh,
Mister.
you son of a bitch.
Do you think you live an ethical or moral life?
No.
Oh.
No,
Well,
I
shit.
don't. I think
Fuck.
that I live a life which is innately, which has been created by capitalists and capitalism
I guess, yeah, that's
to
true.
be, if I wish to live comfortably, I cannot live ethically. And I put more value on comfort than ethics.
Do you think it's because maybe comfort has been described socially as a monetary thing? Could you find comfort in less monetarily things?
I think that someone could. I don't know that I could find comfort without good food and a good roof over my head and a comfortable bed, and all of those things require monetary effort.
I guess that's true. I was thinking in the perspective of not having, excuse me, not having the best things, like
Mm.
being the richest and having like $1 million house, but having like a 300,000 or a $100,000 house, and just living maybe comfortably is not the right word. I
I
think
think
I was
that those things are deeply unimportant to me.
like,
The having the nice house, the having the best things, those I don't need, but I need something.
you need food, you need your video games, you
Mhm.
need your boys, but you don't have to pay for your boys. That's just given to you. Well, no, because you have to pay for internet
I
to
do have
hang
to
out
pay
with your
for internet.
boys.
Yeah.
Hmm. You have to pay for gas.
Very, very few things in this world are free, which
It's
is a
unfortunate.
tragedy.
Water's not even free.
Water's not even free. The bare
Uh,
necessities aren't free.
just a bare necessity. Yeah.
Yeah, that those things.
So, and like you were talking about earlier, to be comfortable is to be not ethical.
No, I don't think that's absolutely true. I think that for me, in this society, those things are diametrically opposed. For other people and in other societies, they do not have to be.
Interesting. What about moral? Do you think you live a moral life?
So, when I think the term moral, I think of having morals by which I abide, which I utilize to make the world a place which is generally more positive and better, if we can use that term. I think I do live a moral life. I
Hmm.
do that which is within my bounds to not cause damage to the planet, to the people around me, to myself, to the things which I think matter.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, and that way you kind of do live a moral life because
Yeah.
your morals are based off of your own values.
My morals are not absolute. They're based on my own personal values. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Never I you know what, I always forget the definition of morals in that way because it's not absolute because morals do change unless
Mhm.
you come from it like in a religious sense. But even then, morals do change because society changes. So, interesting. Well, as two dungeon masters, well, I wouldn't consider myself a full dungeon master.
Are you a master of a dungeon?
I have made one dungeon. I have mastered one dungeon. Pokemon dungeons. um, well, what is a good story and why do we tell them? I'm hitting you with it, you bastard.
I think that storytelling, in its very barest essential, is a very human way to communicate information, communicate concepts, communicate ideas that to say I went out and hunted a cow. Maybe that's not good. I went out and hunted a bison
Mhm.
in this area, but then I found a wolf and I left. Is like the most practical story that we can tell, right? That I did this thing. Here is this information that I am conveying unto you. And how I know it is that it happened to me. And then we morphed that into my buddy Jared told me that he went out and hunted a cow in this area, but then found a wolf. And now I'm conveying info that didn't happen to me. And then we turn it into my buddy Jared said that you should run away from wolves. Now that's a moral. Now this is less exact empirical information and more. Here's a thing that I believe to be true. And that ultimately got turned into storytelling as we know it, right? Like the tales of the Lord of the Rings, where it's something that we made up. And the reason we made it up is because it's fun.
So, stop me if I'm wrong.
Go ahead.
Uh, a good story is one that makes people think or kind of webs and flows and is like it changes over time to be valuable in some way.
I think that a good story, and this is, I'm going to go off on a real quick tangent right now,
You're good.
if you
Yeah,
don't mind.
go. I don't mind.
Pretty often people talk about the concept of art. What
Oh,
is art? How do we
well,
define art? How do we know something is or isn't art? I have come to the definition myself that art is a thing which we consider art, which is a deeply unhelpful idea if you're trying to say this is something that isn't art. But art to me is just something that can be observed and considered to be art. Similarly, a story is just something that we think of as a story. A story is a story.
mm-hmm.
And it doesn't need to have anything behind it. It used to. It used to need to have value. It used to need to have moral or information. But we're a very advanced creature, the human brain.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just do things because we like to, because there's no value behind it except that our brain gives us the good chemical. That's it. We tell stories because we do. And maybe that is we tell stories because the brain gives us the good chemical that makes us happy, or maybe it's just we tell stories because stories are a good thing to tell.
Yeah. No, I guess I can see what you're saying. Almost stories,
Self-definitional.
s- almost like art in that way,
Yeah. Why do we tell
where
stories? Well, we tell stories because we tell stories. That's it. That's all that we need.
or we get the perspective or understanding of the person telling the story.
Hmm.
Just like art in that way, when people make art, like this is an extension of their mind.
Yeah.
Is that did I get that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I don't I don't know if I entirely agree with a story just being a story. Um, because what is a good story? I would say it's got and in the English form of a story, uh, it's you got a protagonist, and a protagonist doesn't have to be a person. It could be a thing. It could be a concept. And then you have the antagonist, which is trying to prevent whatever situation. It could be a person, it could be a thing, could be a concept. And then you've got the challenge, and then you've got the solution. And the antagonist is not always the like a part of the story. They could partially be the challenge to get over. And I think that like in a bare form of storytelling is good because I don't like seeing in my perspective, I don't like seeing the protagonist win all the time. I want to see the struggle. There's something so beautiful about our history in that way that there is so much struggle that there's so much knowledge to be held from. Um, all of our challenges between society, different religious groups. There's in Malcolm's rant talking about art, like there is art in those struggles. There is beauty in that knowledge. And even in scientific research, you see like the struggles. If life did not have stories or art, it would be boring. If life did not have struggles or strifes, it would be boring. Like if we always as a society managed to succeed in everything we did and tried to be perfect, like in the perfection in the terms of society being perfect. Um if we were perfect, there would be it would be boring, right?
I mean, I agree with that. I don't think that that's important to a story, though.
Struggle?
Yeah, because I
Okay.
think that the definition of story, I think that in our traditional Western story, like you were saying,
Right. The traditional English, like if you went to a language class, that's the usually the term of a story. Like
I don't think that's a correct term. I think that that
that's
is
fair.
a
It's a Western version of it.
juvenile simplicity.
Yeah. Okay.
because I think that if I say, "Hey, Jerry," just the other day, my buddy Jerry told me this really good joke. I don't remember exactly what it is, but here it is. I think that's a story. And that has very few of those things, unless we're calling me the protagonist and my forgetfulness the antagonist.
Or the challenge or the problem.
That
Yeah,
doesn't have any of those pieces.
I guess a joke is a story.
A joke is a story, and more specifically, that framing is a story. That framing of, let me tell you about this time that this thing happened. I just think that it is to say that they have to have those things narrows it down far too much and creates a world in which stories have to be written and told in a specific way that they naturally are not.
I guess that's true because it's really not even. l- Sometimes life is not about the struggle. Sometimes it is about the just the beautiful aspects of life
The mundane.
and storytelling.
Yeah. The world without the mundane
Hmm.
is very boring. I don't think that completely ridding the world of challenge is going to do us any better, but I do think that ridding the world of the mundane will also not help.
Yeah. Interesting. Storytelling is also, I guess, one of those things that there's no absolute answer. And what a good story is another like based on human perspective. Like what
Mm.
do you think makes a good story? Well, A, B, and C. Well, I think it's D, E, F.
Yeah.
And I I know like one of the bare reasons of why do we tell stories is just to like pass on knowledge, but sometimes not. Sometimes, like you said, it is a story, like children's book.
Yeah.
You're sometimes a story is a story. Prince saves
Sometimes the point of a
princess.
story is to go to sleep.
I guess that's true.
And like that is just as much of a story as Hamlet.
Just as much as the story as Hungry Hungry Caterpillar. Love
Hungry
that
Hungry
book.
Caterpillar.
Good book.
That fucking dude, he hungry.
He hungry.
Yeah, I think stories are weird and kind of hard to understand, but we're creatures who innately want to share
That's true.
because that's how we survive.
Most
And anytime we share, that's the story. Anytime we
yeah,
share an experience, I guess that's a story.
or even experience transformed into different ways, like Harry Potter,
Yeah.
or somebody else's experiences, or somebody's experience that could have happened, could
Uh-huh.
potentially happen. Huh. God, that's weird.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and move on because that is a weird,
That is a big question.
it is a big question. Let's go to a kind of more grounded question. Shannon, what'd you do if you had like $1 billion?
I guess if since it's like our last little thing,
Uh-huh.
uh,
Specifically, the question is, what would you do if you won the Powerball?
well, let me check how much the power is. How much? Oh, I should have looked at my typing. How much is the Powerball jackpot at the moment? It is an estimated 532 million. So if I had 532 million or a billion, just to round it
Well,
up.
we can probably go to say like you'll lose some of that to taxes, so like
So
say like
500.
300 million.
Oh, okay. You know, such a good question. It's like it really puts it into perspective of all the selfish things that I was just thinking about. Like, oh, I just get it. get a big mansion, or I build my house and then just live off my money. But then
Mm,
I think about it sometimes in the long run, like, no, I think there's a general list of people who I would like to give back to, or give money to, uh not necessarily give back, because I know there's a lot of people in my life who I think definitely deserve a good chunk of money if I had it. And or there's things I would want to do with my money, provide. I honestly try and provide like help to homeless communities, people who are less fortunate than I. Um yeah, and of course there's like I would want to be a little selfish. I think I could take like 2 million of that and build my dream house on my dream property. Not maybe my dream property, but build my dream house and then pay off everything that I would need to just live vicariously by like trying to make the world a better place. Mr.
mhm.
Beast style. Even though it's you could make the world a better place without filming it. Anyways,
Would you
that's
film
just
it?
huh?
Would you film it?
I don't know. I already have a hard time being a YouTuber streamer kind of thing. Uh I would like to film it, but not for the point of, oh wow, look at me, but from the perspective that like look at these people. Try and basically open people's minds to be like, yeah, maybe I could give a chunk of my money, give a chunk of my change. Millionaires, billionaires.
Okay, that's interesting. Not for the sake of fame, but for the sake of I can try to do something good by doing something good.
Right. I don't think I would want to earn any monetary value from posting a video on the internet. Uh if there was like $1 million is what I was giving out or something. I don't know. It's just a weird. It falls under that same thing of like, those animal videos where you see people helping out an animal, they're cutting them out of a thing of wire, but it's
Uh-huh,
filmed.
uh-huh.
I hate those videos because it's like, geez, why did you bring a camera to all this when you should have just, helped
Mhm.
the animal?
And am I sure that you're truly helping and not like,
Are you
how
not
do I
trying to
know that you didn't put them in that situation?
Yeah, or are you just trying to monetize you?
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I I've wrestled with all of that, I think, over the past couple of years, because I know I want to do the YouTube streamer stuff, but
Mhm.
like it's I don't want to do it to necessarily be famous. I want to do it just to do it.
Create for the sake of creation.
Right. Tell a story to tell a story.
Mm.
Make art to make art.
And it
I,
wrapped around.
yeah. I mean, but don't get me wrong, there would be some selfish things. I'd probably want to get my dream car, help my mom out, help my dad out, help
Mhm.
my brother out, brothers, help my friends, family, stuff like that. But in the long run, take the rest of that money, put it to do something better, bigger than myself.
I think my answer would be very, very similar.
Of
I
course,
wanna
you would be selfish a little
spend
bit.
yeah. I have money, I can live the way that I've always dreamed. Let's get a nice house. Let's get enough money for me and my family and the people I care most about. And let's make sure that medical bills are always paid. Let's make sure that all of this is always happy and paid. And then with what's left, let's put out some good into the world.
Yeah.
Let's share that happiness.
Like why only be selfish and like provide for yourself
Uh-huh.
if you can afford to better somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
How would you go about bettering other people? Would you do like be a giant grocery store, fill it up with food, and make it 0 cents? Or I don't know.
I think that so that's a really hard part of this question.
Yeah.
I think that I would either truly just try to find people who seem like they need it. Find the people who are hurt the most by the world and help in whatever way I possibly can. Or
Or
or try to make larger systematic changes. Use that money to fund political candidates who I believe in. Use that money to try to, I don't know, bring down inflation. Use that money to like try to make hard, permanent changes that seem like they're going to last, that will outlast me.
yeah.
And I don't honestly know which one I do. I think that to just immediately straight up give money is like will save lives, but how many lives will be saved if we can just get the tax rate to be higher on the rich and send that money to the people who need it? Like, I don't know.
Interesting. No? Huh. I didn't think you would put your money into political necessities, but I guess you would in turn be doing that anyways.
Yeah, I just it feels like I'd probably want to do both.
Yeah. No. I see what you're saying. Ah. I do like the idea of bringing down inflation though. God,
Yeah, God, that'd be really
everything's so
nice.
expensive.
I
Just
don't
let
know
me
exactly how you'd fucking do it, because
delete your money. All 300 million dollars. That would I don't know. I don't know. Shit's crazy.
I mean, $300 million comparatively is a pittance.
Is what?
Comparatively to like $1 billion or billionaires, 300 million is pretty much a pittance.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
I was listening to a podcast and it's just like uh, those TikTok videos of like billionaires versus millionaires.
Hmm.
Millionaires are like pinching pennies and like not donating or not giving tips, and then you see billionaires are like, "Oh yeah, you know what? Here's a bunch of money,"
Hmm.
and it's like, uh, oh my gosh, they did it! What the hell? It's just yeah, crazy shit like that. It was just funny because billionaires, it's a thousand millions. It's 1,000 millions.
It's a lot of millions.
Uh, oh god, I'm gonna throw up. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of
Anyways,
money. It's an absurd amount of money.
oh, what a good episode. I think we're done.
Is that where we're wrapping up?
Yeah, we'll wrap up.
I think that's a
Uh,
good idea.
while you start doing housekeeping stuff.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do some of the housekeeping.
Yay!
Well, that's where we're gonna wrap up. Thank you once more and every episode to our lovely Nadia Diaz for our amazing
Ooh,
podcast
ooh.
cover art.
Yeah,
What noise was that?
it was like a hype noise. I was hyping for Nadia Diaz.
Okay. Don't make that noise again, please and thank you.
Ooh.
Her Instagram is at artheadcreations, no spaces and no capitals. That's at ARTHEADCREATIONS
Whoa.
on Instagram.
So good.
The link is also in the description.
She also has her portfolio in the description. It's
Look at that.
www.nadiadiazvfx.com. That's www.nadiadiazvfx.com.
Yo, that's really fucking impressive. I just clicked on it. That's some cool shit.
Wait, I actually haven't looked at this either.
Yeah, you should look at it.
Oh my
Damn,
god.
Nadia.
Oh my god.
That's fucking good.
You can download her resume. She's got like Pixar level stuff.
Yeah, that's some Pixar shit right there.
And there's her sharks that she very much loves.
And additionally, thank you to Jensen Krall, who made up
He's
our
so
intro and
good.
outro songs.
God.
He just really, a while ago, he released a demo for the musical he's working on. The song is "Knocking on Doors" for the musical Tea Time. If you Google "Knocking on Doors Tea Time," it comes up on Spotify, iTunes, and Apple Music. Also in the description. You gotta check the description.
Check the description.
Just check the description.
Also, we have an email.
You fucking
Send us.
email us.
Email us, homies.
Email
Hey,
us.
send us an email.
Hey,
It's waiting, the number 4 seconds at gmail.com. And send us questions so we can ask our guests.
She did that in 20 minutes?
What?
Nadia, look at the fucking studies tab.
Oh my.
That's crazy.
Okay, yeah. Fully while you're doing the Jensen Krall one thing, housekeeping of his wonderful song Tea Time, or Knocking on Doors for his musical Tea Time.
For the musical Tea Time.
Whew.
In the description.
I have been watching. I was looking at all of her studies. God, she's so good at art.
She's so good at art.
Wow.
Anyways, it was
fun. Thank you everybody for listening. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We will catch you in about 9 more episodes. So until then,
on this
jet.